Jeff Samardzija found a home in San Francisco last offseason when he signed a long-term deal with the Giants. But it all started for the Shark here in Chicago. Drafted by the Cubs in '06, Samardzija played parts of 7 seasons on Chicago's north side. Tonight, he returns to Wrigley Field as a Giant to take on his former team in Game 1 of a 4-game series, and it's coming up next. The road trip begins tonight. We're in Chicago as we come to you from Wrigley Field. This is Game 1 of a 4-game series, Giants and Cubs. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dwayne Kuiper. Alongside me is John Miller. Mike Krukow will join us when we get to Denver. Well, John, look, there are road trips and then there are this road trip. And I know it's what's on the schedule, but this is a 4-game series. Giants do not have fond memories of last year in a 4-game series, so they're going to have to up their game this time around.
The Cubs look back to last year, and they felt that their 4-game sweep of the Giants in this ballpark in early August was the turning point of the season. When they took on the defending world champions, they swept them, and they thought, hey, we're for real. Yep. We can get this done. The Giants right now are sort of in the reverse image of that. The Giants need to get it going, so they're hoping to get it started here against a team that has the best record in the National League and in all of Major League Baseball. The Cubs are rolling 33-12 in their last 45 games. And Jeff Samardzija, the former Cub, goes for the Giants. He's the new and improved Samardzija. So the Giants are hoping that with Samardzija and the wind blowing in, that they'll get the strong pitch game that they need and get off to a good start in this series.
A good start is what they need. It'll be Mike Montgomery, the lefty for the Cubs, and for the Giants, Jeff Samardzija. When we come back, we will have the lineups and the first pitch of this game right after this.
Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Jack's Brewhouse Bacon Burger today at Jack in the Box. Limited time only at participating restaurants. And by Toyota. Toyota's Labor Day clearance event is here. For Labor Day only, get $2,500 total cash back on the redesigned 2016 Prius. Toyota, let's go places.
We're in the Windy City as we get ready for baseball. Our game time weather is presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is now open every day. 70 degrees here at the yard. It feels like 50. You see the winds are brisk. Humidity at 62%, and it is partly cloudy. All right, let's take a look at the Giants lineup that'll face Mike Montgomery. It'll go like this. Span back in the lineup, Pagan, Posey, and Hunter Pence. Crawford will hit fifth, then it's Joe Panik, and you can see what Joe's done his last 11 games. Nunez, Belt eighth, and then Samardzija will hit ninth. Mike Montgomery, you can see his numbers combined with Chicago and Seattle, and this will be his third start, and all those starts came in a Cubs uniform. He throws pretty hard. He can hit 97, but he cruises around 93, 94. He's got a pretty good curveball, and he throws a cutter. And playing behind Montgomery, it's a good defense for the Cubs. In the outfield from left to right, it'll be Coghlan, Fowler, and Hayward. Hayward's awesome. Bryant, Russell, Sobrist, and Rizzo from third to first. David Ross will catch the lefty, Mike Montgomery. Game one of a four-game series just about ready to get underway. Here's John Miller.
All right, Kipe and Montgomery. The Giants saw him last year when he was with the Seattle Mariners as a starting pitcher, and they beat him at Safeco Field in Seattle. We begin. Denard Span at the plate, takes a called strike. So we are underway at 7:06 Central Daylight Time. 68 degrees the game time temperature officially. That's a called strike two. Span missed yesterday's game and part of the day before with a neck problem, hitting .275, and he's been hot when he's been in there most recently. That is down the right field line. It's a fair ball. Hits off the side of the bullpen mound. Hayward's got a strong arm. Span digging for second. In there safely with a leadoff double. That was an 0-2 pitch.
Yeah, that's significant, John. You got Montgomery who's sailing along 0-2, and he throws a breaking ball that stays up. And you see the footwork of Span, who starts out pigeon-toed but squares it up, and he hits it right over the head of Anthony Rizzo. So nice at bat.
22nd double of the year for Span, and now the Giants with an opportunity to jump ahead here against the red-hot Cubs. Angel Pagan, who's also been swinging a hot bat, hitting .293 toward the middle. Knocked down from his knee, and Pagan, not running at full efficiency with that groin issue, is retired on an excellent play by Ben Zobrist, who kept it from going into the outfield. But Pagan with a productive out, moving Span to third.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt, John, that a healthy Angel Pagan, this is an infield hit. But he does manage to move Span to third. A nice play by Zobrist. But once he knocked it down, I thought, you know, Pagan's got a hit. But you're right, he's dinged up right now.
It's the same issue that he had. And look at this. Joe Madden makes a statement about what kind of a game he thinks it's going to be. He's got the infield in right away as Buster Posey comes up. And it's back to the screen. Strike one. Very unusual to see, especially with a team that hits as well as the Cubs, the infield come in all the way in for a power hitter like Posey this early in the game.
I think Joe Madden threw out the book a long time ago.
And the curveball misses. One ball and one strike. The Giants saw Montgomery in Seattle in June of last season, and they beat him 7-0. He allowed 4 runs and 7 hits in 7 1/3 innings. Another curveball just up and away. Posey was 0 for 2 with a walk in that game in Seattle last year. Buster, who is hitting .296 for the year with a .373 on base average. There you see how the infield is playing it.
The dribbler foul. 2-2 the count. Posey trying to put the Giants ahead here, and I think this is a very key early moment.
It is.
Trying to jump ahead. Something the Giants have had a problem doing all too often this year in the first inning of games. Holding at third is Span. Buster, who had a very defensive swing, hit just a little soft ground ball to Zobrist that would almost surely have meant a run had the infield been back in normal depth. So Posey could not get him home. 2 down.
Yeah, pitch was away from Buster Posey, and he lost his legs in the swing. But here's where you can really pick up your teammate if you're Hunter Pence. He had a great round of batting practice.
281 batting average for Pence. 351 on base. Infield back normal depth now. Off the inside at 93 miles an hour. Ball 1. And you see his numbers for the year. That ball is hit high and deep to left center field. Way back there. Adios, Pelota. Near the top of the bleachers in left center. What a shot to give the Giants a 2-0 lead.
Now, I don't always take what a guy does in batting practice is a key to how he's going to do in a game, but my goodness, Hunter Pence had 4 or 5 of those in batting practice, and they're telling us while we were watching batting practice that the wind is so strong that it was going to be really hard to hit balls out to left field. Not the case on this one. This, my friends, was a big fly.
So 2-0 Giants. Brandon Crawford takes one in the dirt for ball 1. Now that big board out there in left center, which for a few moments you wondered if maybe the ball was going to hit that board. Crawford with a check swing. It's ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. You wonder if that big board knocked down that wind, because it's a strong wind blowing in from left field.
Absolutely, very well could have.
Three and 0 with Joe Panik on deck. Hunter Pence. The Giants well know that Hunter Pence is capable of running off a week or 2 of those kind of home runs.
Or like a month 2 years ago.
In there for a strike, taking all the way. 3-1 now. Very exciting to see Pence launch one. There's the view of the flags on the left field foul pole. The wind blowing straight in from the outfield. That is caught by Zobrist. A line drive to end the inning. But the 2-out booming home run by Hunter Pence. 110 miles an hour off the bat, according to StatCast of the MLB at bat app. 2-0 Giants.
lead. And let's take a look at Joe Maddon's lineup that'll face Jeff Samardzija. It'll be Fowler, Bryant, and then Anthony Rizzo. By the way, the Bryant and Rizzo, both guys could very well, they could both be the MVP of the league. Zobrist, Hayward, and then Addison Russell. Chris Coglin in the 7th slot, then Ross, and then the pitcher Montgomery. And the numbers for Samardzija, and he's been really good as of late. You see his 11-9 record. And once he broke out the breaking ball, it has made a big difference for him.
Dexter Fowler leads off and takes a called strike, according to Adam Hamari, the home plate umpire. Fowler, who has been a key for the Cubs when he's been in there, their record is spectacular. He's got a .387 on base percentage, which is excellent. And that's too high at 94 miles an hour. The umpiring alignment with Hamari back of the plate. The crew chief, Tom Hallian, at first, Dan Bellino second, and Phil Cussy, longtime umpire, over at third. That one cutting in on the hands really jammed him, fouled back to the screen. Now Jeff Samardzija, of course, came up with the Cubs. He made a lot of appearances here as a reliever. Then they converted him to being a starter. 104 times he's pitched in this ballpark, but always for the Cubs. The first time he has ever opposed them here. It's back to the screen as he changed up. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So a big night for Samardzija.
Yeah, he talked to him on the field before the game. He's not a guy that runs and hides on the day that he's pitching.
That will go foul out of play off to the left. Now, sometimes when you look at a guy's on base percentage, and Fowler .387, you think he takes a lot of pitches.
Right.
Well, sometimes it's not about that. It's more like fighting off a lot of tough 2-strike pitches.
Yeah, and that'll wear a pitcher out.
This is the 6th pitch of the sequence. Deep and foul down the right field line. Very much foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Giants outfield not playing him to pull, playing him toward the left field side. The swing late. The infield is playing him to pull. A Giants fan ended up with that baseball. And there are a lot of Giants fans here tonight, I might add. The change up, down and away. 2-2 the count.
It's the first 4 hitters in this lineup that will wear you out if you're not careful. After that, you catch a little bit of a break. Not that they're not good hitters, but if you just go by their average.
And that is going to go out of play. A 96-mile-an-hour fastball away.
And it's almost as if Samardzija said, all right, I'm going to ramp it up a little bit because I'm tired of this at bat to Fowler already.
Fowler has seen more of Samardzija than any other current Cubs hitter. He's had 22 lifetime at bats against him, a .273 average. A double, 2 triples, and a homer, though. That is a foul ball.
And defensively for the Giants, Pagan, Span, and Fence in the outfield. That'll go from left to right. Nunez, Crawford, Panic, Bell, third to first. And Buster Posey here in game 1, catching Jeff Samardzija.
Giants leading 2-0. This is the 10th pitch seen by Fowler, and he'll see at least one more. That curveball bouncing in there, and he may well have wanted to bounce one in there, but this is why Fowler's so tough. He laid off. You talk about those first 4 hitters. There's Bryant on deck. All of these guys will tend to see a lot of pitches, get a lot of walks. And it continues on. He bounced that cutter foul. And this is Dexter Fowler's game. When he was out of the lineup for a while with an injury, the Cubs did not do well.
Yeah.
He's a switch hitter. Fowler has 10 home runs. He's played 100 games. And the fans are getting into it now.
Here's the point to this at bat. Even if Samardzija gets him out, it's a win. So Samardzija's got nothing to gain. Now you want to keep that guy off of first. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, he's going through 12 pitches already.
Still facing his first batter of the game. Pitch number 13. It's a walk. And he worked hard to get that walk. Greater coverage of baseball is brought to you by T-Mobile. Friday versus the Braves. Jeff Samardzija's last start. He got the win, 7 innings, no runs allowed, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks, threw 107 pitches in that one, and had just about everything working. He had some tight spots in the first couple of innings and got through them. And Samardzija, more of the same. His last 4 starts have been similar to that. As Chris Bryant having a monster season, fouls one, and it's 0-1.
Well, the one thing John Fowler hasn't done, like he did when the Giants saw him as a young player in Colorado, he doesn't run as much anymore. And I don't know if that's a Joe Madden philosophy or if that's a Fowler philosophy.
Only 8 steals all year. At the knees at 95. It's 0-2. Chris Bryant, who's got 36 homers, 90 batted in, a .402 on base percentage. He is tied with Nolan Arenado of the Rockies for the league lead in home runs. 2-0 Giants. In the dirt, and that went through Buster Posey. He's got to go over to the Cubs on deck circle to retrieve it. Buster came up, the ball stayed down.
Yeah, sometimes, and I don't know if the ball hit the plate, but if it hits the plate, it's going to flatten out. And let's see if it hits the plate or it's kind of just the corner of it. And it's going to do something weird if it hits any part of the plate.
So the Cubs did not have to steal second base. Now a runner in scoring position. And he got a piece of that changeup to stay alive. 86 miles an hour there from Jeff Samardzija. In his last 13 games, he's had 8 homers, 17 at bats, 8 homers out of 24 hits total in the 13 games, a .462 average, and on top of that, 9 walks. He's been on base more than 50% of the time the last couple of weeks. Check swing, and he fouled that one. And some cut to it at 90 miles an hour. So here we go again. The 13-pitch battle on which Fowler ended up reaching with a walk. And this will be pitch number 6 to Chris Bryant. These are just the first 2 hitters of the game. Anthony Rizzo is on deck. Giants 2, Cubs nothing. A bloop in there. Fowler rounding third. He's going to score. A single for Chris Bryant. He just kind of lobbed it over the head of Belt, and it's 2-1. The leadoff walk has already been converted into a run.
Well, Samardzija can't be faulted for this. He made a good pitch. Bryant just strong enough to get enough of it to get it over Belt. See the location, jams him. And Mike Krukow was talking about how unusual Samardzija is the other day, where he's a tall guy, but yet he handles the inside pitch pretty well, and that's usually not the case.
So Bryant handling Samardzija for his 91st RBI of the year. He has as many steals, by the way, as does Fowler. Here comes Anthony Rizzo, and that's in there for a called strike. Rizzo with a .293 average, 26 homers, 37 doubles, 93 batted in, and he's got a .390 on base average. He gets a lot of walks too. Rizzo, who really crowds the plate, as did Bryant for that matter. And that's how to play strike 2. Samardzija has thrown 21 pitches. That's already a high stress inning, and he has not retired a hitter yet.
And he needs a double play ball.
Rizzo has grounded into 10 double plays, tied for second most on the club. So here's a double play candidate. High fastball right where Buster asked for it, up onto the roof. Still 0-2. A lot of 2-strike fouls in this first inning. Zobrist is on deck. Brandon Crawford is playing almost up the middle for Rizzo. And you see how the Giants are playing it. Belt on the bag at first with Bryant. Belt gets the lead runner. Nobody covering at first. Samardzija did not get over there. So Rizzo safe at first. They finally get the first out of the inning. Belt did a great job getting anybody in that. He just barely got Bryant at second.
Yeah, the thing about this play for Belt, once you're on the ground, that means you don't have the ability to move forward to get a better angle, or you don't hit that runner in the back. So he had to throw from his knees, and he made a good throw.
Here's ball one to Ben Zobrist. Well, and that's a good point. I mean, he's got to be very precise with that throw, because he cannot move at all.
He can, and you could see Bryant was moving in towards the pitcher's mound.
And the curveball misses. 2-0.
Now watch how Bryant takes the angle now. He knows that he's going to try to get into the throwing lane, and Belt just threw it right over his left shoulder.
So that play was really a much better play than you might even realize if you were here at the ballpark. And Belt, he loves to throw. It's a strong part of his game. That's a called strike to Zobrist. Another guy who goes up there and grinds out at bats. Zobrist gets a lot of walks. He gets more than any of the other Cubs. He's got a .383 on base percentage with only a .278 batting average. 2-1 the count. 1 out. Runner at first. A run in. Strike two. That frozen. The high curveball at 80 miles an hour. 2-2. 2-1 Giants here in the first inning. This will be the 28th pitch of the inning coming up from Samardzija. Jason Hayward on deck. Base hit to left field. Pagan gets it back to the infield. Rizzo over to second. That's the second hit of the inning for the Cubs. So now Jason Hayward. Hayward, the former Brave and former Cardinal, and now a Cub. The Cubs, whose arch rivals are the Cardinals, and they paid a lot of money to pry him loose from St. Louis.
Yeah.
Hayward, maybe the best defensive right fielder in the game. And that's a called strike on the inside. Hayward is hitting only .234 with only 6 home runs and a .308 on base percentage. The offense has not been there very often, but the defense seems to be a given with Hayward. And of course, in addition to adding Hayward, they subtracted him from their arch rivals lineup.
It's a win-win.
Popped up, foul, and back out of play. So 0-2 the count to Jason Hayward. We thought, and I think you're in agreement with this, when we first saw Hayward with Atlanta when he was just a real young guy, that he was going to be a superstar and maybe on his way to the Hall of Fame, because he hit a lot of home runs as a young guy with Atlanta.
Like a 25 home run guy for sure.
Did he swing? A check swing. The Giants do not appeal it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cubs with a run in and only 1 out. And Jeff Samardzija about to throw his 32nd pitch of the inning. That is a base hit. That will tie the game. Rizzo around third to score. Over to third goes Zobrist. Another 2-strike hit for the Cubs. It's 2-2, and the inning goes on.
Now Dave Righetti's going to come out, and this is just to give Samardzija a breather. Look, and I get it, they're base hits, but again, Samardzija gets in on Hayward, and he just got enough of it to get over the head of Crawford. So if you're Dave Righetti, you got to give him the old attaboy. Look, you're making good pitches, they're getting some hits, but keep doing what you're doing. It's going to even out.
The plate umpire, Adam Hamari, goes out to ask them to move it along. And Righetti will head off. And some Giants fans who are here, they look a little concerned right now. The Cubs have jumped right back into it. A 2-run first inning of their own, and still only 1 out with runners at first and third. And Addison Russell is coming up. Addison Russell, who has become a great RBI man. He's obviously getting a lot of RBI chances, and he's cashing in a lot of them. He's got 86 runs batted in. As the Giants bullpen is going to get ready, Matt Reynolds, just brought up from Sacramento, will get up. And that's a ball off the outside. Addison Russell is hitting only .243. There's Reynolds. Giants did not expect to need somebody to get up in the first inning of this game, that's for sure. But this is a very laborious inning. The tone was set by Dexter Fowler, the first hitter of the inning. And it's 2-0. Giants have added 6 players, including 4 pitchers, 4 left-handed pitchers. Josh Osich off the DL. Ty Block, Stephen Okert, and Matt Reynolds is warming up right now. An outfielder, Mac Williamson from the DL, and Kelby Tomlinson, an infielder, was recalled from Sacramento as well. 2-0, big pitch here with 2 on. And it's foul. Took a big rip at a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Traded for each other, right?
Addison Russell was in the Oakland farm system and a prize, maybe their best prospect at the time. And the Athletics, Billy Beane said, we need to solidify our rotation. And they got not just Samardzija, they got Jason Hamill in that deal from the Cubs. And the prize the Cubs got back is their all-star shortstop, Addison Russell. That's a foul out of play. It's from a good hard breaking ball down and away. And it's 2-2. There have not been many swings and misses in this inning.
No.
Out of the 36 pitches thrown, and most of them have been strikes. 26 strikes out of the 36 thrown. Zobrist at third, Hayward at first. And there is a swinging strike, and he's gone. 2 down.
Well, it's a big strikeout because you still have that runner standing at third base. But not out of the woods yet.
He threw him a nasty pitch. Looked like a changeup with a lot of sink to it. That split finger grip. Wow. Now that's a great pitch. But still, the inning goes on. 2 down. Here's Coghlan. That's a fair ball. Through the Giants bullpen. 1 run is in. Zobrist. Hayward is going to be waved and now held. As the throw-in comes to Brandon Belt. And the Cubs are ahead 3-2. Coghlan, first ball swinging. A double down the right field line.
Tried to get ahead of Coghlan, and I think he made the pitch he wanted to. Maybe got a little bit more of the plate. And with Belt moving towards second base, like most first basemen will do, kind of changed his momentum. No way he could get to the ball. And for Samardzija, he's thinking, I'm going to get out of this with limited damage, and it turns out that Coughlin comes up with a double. Nice play, by the way, by Pence.
Now they're going to walk Ross intentionally with the pitcher Montgomery on deck. The Cubs have responded with 3 first-inning runs after the Giants' 2 spot in their half of the inning.
Well, I think one of the reasons you do this is obviously you want to face the pitcher, but you also want to get Samardzija off the mound. He's got 40 pitches. And the reason Reynolds is up, it's not because Samardzija's got bad stuff. It's because you don't want to hurt the guy.
So you're getting into that territory, real, genuine high-stress territory.
Absolutely. I mean, you're already in September and you've thrown a lot of pitches, a lot of innings.
So here is Montgomery. Montgomery is 0 for 5 with 1 strikeout as a hitter. And he aggressively went after that 2-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour, a lot of movement running away, and it's 0-1.
I mean, if you want to play the game with Samardzija, you can tell him, look, you get out of this, you pitch 5 innings of shutout ball, you got a quality start. At least by the numbers.
And Samardzija and the Giants will both take that at this point. First, trying to get out of this jam with the bases loaded, 3 runs already in. And remember, every pitch is this relentless Cubs offense straight through the lineup. They've all been forcing him to throw a lot of pitches. This will be number 45. Now, 4 of them were the intentional 4 balls to Ross. The curveball, and it's called a ball a little bit too high. Samardzija didn't think so. The hitter is 6 feet 5 inches tall.
I guess if you're Samardzija, he's thinking when it rains, it pours. Could be a strike. Not in the first inning.
Well, they came right after him. He challenged him with a high fastball and blew it by him. 2-2. And he started to get to that spot where he needed to do that. Cubs 3, Giants 2. Bases loaded, 2 down, and the inning at long last is over. Wow. 47 Samardzija pitches. 3-2 Cubs.
is brought to you by AAA. What does your insurance do when it's not doing insurance? It should do more. Go to AAA.com for more details.
And Giant season tickets are currently sold out, but get on deck today for your 2017 season tickets with a $500 per seat non-refundable deposit. If you do, you can gain access to purchase all potential 2016 Division Series home playoff games. Giant sales executives are standing by to assist you at 415-972-2298. 415-972-2298. Or you can go to sfgiants.com/season. Joe Panik swinging a hot bat lately. Takes a called strike from Mike Montgomery. It's hard to even remember the last time Montgomery was on the mound, although it was just 1 inning ago. Curveball that hit him. And Ross may be arguing about how he didn't try to get out of the way, but it just grazed him, that's for sure. So perhaps Panik took one for the team there.
Well, turned away from it, but it clipped him maybe on the jersey. Maybe Adam Hamari heard it.
I was listening real hard myself.
Yep.
So here is Eduardo Nunez. Ball one. Nunez has got 14 home runs and 57 runs batted in overall. And hitting .283 for the year. Runner at first. Rizzo on the bag with him. And topped foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Great. We got the wind blowing in at Wrigley, and we got a Coors Field game. Like, how did that happen?
I was trying to reflect. Where have I seen this before? At Wrigley with the wind blowing in? I don't think so. Coors Field, of course. That curveball was almost over his head, and he looked desperate to hit it. He does move up Panik into scoring position as he is thrown out.
All right, here's our Geico quote. It comes from Bruce Bochy. On the next 10 days in 10 games in 11 days, this road trip is big. They're all big now. It's critical. I don't know if it's quite make or break. Right now, you have to avoid disasters.
So here is Brandon Belt in the 8th spot of the order, and the curveball high and tight. Belt has been struggling so badly, and really since the All-Star break. He was hitting .300 at the All-Star break. On base average was over .400.
I mean, Belt's
2-0.
season has kind of gone like the Giants season.
It truly has. You're talking about disasters, avoiding disasters. The Giants opened up the post All-Star break portion of the season in a road trip, and it was a disaster.
With a disaster.
They lost 7 out of 8 in San Diego, Boston, and New York. That curve in for a strike at 75 miles an hour. Now he's got the pitcher up next, but only 1 out, so he doesn't necessarily want to just pitch around Belt and go after the pitcher. Belt's got to be the guy to get the run batted in, though. Look out. Wow. That ball ends up almost over to third base. It hit off the bricks behind the plate. That was not just a wild pitch, an extraordinarily wild pitch.
Well, they announce here on the intercom, wild pitch. I'm happy because I was struggling with that one. Take a look at this. That's one where if you catch a really bad break, it hits your bat.
Well, it went right over his head.
I mean, it missed his bat by about a foot.
Cubs bring the infield in again. The Giants down by a run. The possible tying run at third. 1 out. And Belt chasing that 3-1 cutter, and it's 3-2.
Well, this is the spots that have been frustrating for Belt and for Bruce Bochy and all of us, where you really have to put the ball in play.
And he really, at that point, just didn't give him anything to put into play. I think Belt had expanded the strike zone the previous pitch.
Absolutely.
But he wisely said, no, that's not hittable. So now Samardzija to try and do it. First and third, and the Cubs sent Chris Bosio, their pitching coach, out to the mound to chat with Montgomery. There's Bosio. And he has to be real happy with what his pitchers are doing. The Cubs have been the best pitching staff in Major League Baseball this year. And especially since the All-Star break, their team earned run average in the month of August was 2.75 for the whole team.
Well, I think this conversation is about don't sleep on this guy at the plate because he can hit. And the average doesn't really tell the real story about Samardzija. And he's hitting 148, which that's not terrible. But you got to pitch him tough because he can also run into one.
Samardzija has 7 runs batted in. A mighty cut as the cutter ran down and in and out of the strike zone. So he took a shot at it, and it's 0-1.
Well, you do one thing, you take a shot at it. Now you look at Roberto Kelly, and maybe the manager just gives you one shot at it.
Samardzija, by the way, is hitting .250 with runners in scoring position. The showed bunt. Ross doesn't know where it is, and going to second is Brandon Belt. Heads up base running there by Belt. Ball in the dirt, knocked down by Ross. Now the Cubs appeal to the first base umpire for the bunt. Hallian says no. He pulled the bat back in time.
Well, now you don't have to bunt. I mean, this one really, Ross caught a break that ball did not get by him.
He was the last to know that it didn't get by him. Panic at third, Belt at second. The middle infielders drop back now. So a ground ball to one of the middle infielders could tie the game. That ball is hammered to center. Fowler's got it. The tag up by Panic. Fowler does not have a good arm, and the game is tied. Jeff Samardzija with his 8th run batted in of the year, most on the Giants by any pitcher.
Well, Montgomery did him a favor. He gave him something to hit. And Samardzija got it in the air. Could have easily hit it a little lower and he'd have knocked in a couple. So nice job. The Giants got a rally for free, and they've scored a run here in the second without the benefit of a hit.
Panic hit by the pitch, or so said the umpire. Now they're going to appeal at third base for the. Did he leave too soon? No. Now wait a minute. That's not what he ruled. Cuzzy said, I'm not making a call on that.
You got to do a better job of stepping off and throwing to first.
All right. Okay, you did it the right way, but he still did not leave too soon.
I mean, you start to see an umpire do that, and you get worried. He's going to call him out. Not so.
Denard Span trying to put the Giants back ahead, and there's ball 1.
Yep. Everything's good.
2-0. Span started the 2-run first inning rally with a 2-strike double down the right field line, and later was picked up by Hunter Pence, who hit a monstrous home run to left center. It's 3-3 now. We're in the second inning. Three 3-0. Angel Pagan, a switch hitter, is on deck, and now it's the turn of Montgomery to labor. A hit batsman, a walk in the inning, and now he's 3-0 to Span. He's also thrown 2 wild pitches in the inning.
Yep.
That's a 4-pitch walk, his second in this inning. And the third base runner he has given the Giants. So 2 men on, and now Pagan. This is not what we were thinking when we got to the ballpark and saw the wind was blowing in.
Not at all. Neither was that guy thinking it, or the guy in the Giants dugout.
And you see the flags out in center field. That's where everybody looks when they first get to the ballpark. It's ball 1 to Pagan. Dave Ross takes timeout.
I always love to tell that story. When Don Zimmer was managing the Cubs in the middle 80s, his apartment is one of the high rises right beyond center field, and it faced the deck faced, see the building on the right faced Wrigley Field. First thing you get up in the morning, you go out on his deck and look to see what the wind was doing.
Just like, and that's, if you're a Cubs fan, that's what you do.
Absolutely.
You're a Cubs player, or you come in from out of town to play. You're on the team bus for the visiting team. You get by the ballpark out on Waveland Avenue, and you take a look up there at the top of the scoreboard from out on the street. Now it's 1-1 to Pagan.
Don Zimmer, one of those guys that, boy, was he great for the game for such a long time.
Zim.
Love that guy.
And he was the manager in one of the great Cubs seasons, 1984. Yep. Belt at second, Span at first. But right to the second baseman, Zobrist, and the inning is over. The Giants get a run to tie it. The Cubs will start over again at the top of the order against Samardzija with Fowler, 3-3.
Area is brought to you by Amici's East Coast Pizzeria. When you want the best pizza in town, Amici's delivers.
Giants 3, Cubs 3, as we get the aerial view of downtown Chicago, one of the great cities in America. Jeff Samardzija starts over again at the top of the order. Curveball misses low. A lot of Giants fans in attendance. Many who made the trip here with the Giants for the weekend. 3-3 game as we start the last of the second. And Fowler got the tone. Started with the Cubs in that first inning. That curveball in for a called strike, and it's 1-1. He had a 13-pitch plate appearance, and finally on the 13th pitch he walked. Not everybody had 13 pitches, but most of them had 6 or 7.
Yep.
47 pitches thrown by Samardzija in inning number 1. That is over, but a little bit low. And this is Fowler at his best. And for a long while, it didn't look like Fowler would be a Cub this year. Remember, he was a free agent. And he ended up re-signing with the Cubs. He wasn't getting any offers, not that he liked anyway. in the air. Pagan. What a relief if you're Jeff Samardzija. He's gone.
Absolutely. Giants Insider Podcast is sponsored by Max Muscle Sports Nutrition and is live on CSNBayArea.com. Log on to each week as insider Alex Pavlovich. He talks baseball with all sorts of baseball people, and it's also available on iTunes.
Check it out. You'll love it. Here is Chris Bryant. He blooped a single over Brandon Belt's head to knock in a run in the first. That's a high drive in right center. Pence. 2 down.
Well, if you get a quick out here, he's only averaging 25, 26 pitches.
Anthony Rizzo comes up.
That ball that Brian hit, there are some days here where that's a home run.
When the wind is blowing out at Wrigley Field, it's hard to hit a ball in the air and not get a home run, or one off the wall anyway.
And the higher you hit it, the better shot you got.
Rizzo hit into a force play his first time. It was really an excellent play turned in by Brandon Belt, who made a dive for it and got the force out from his knees, getting the runner at second. 3-3, 2 down, nobody on. And that changeup in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I think if you're Samardzija, you're aware of all the pitches you threw, but I mean, your goal now is to go inning by inning and see if you can get 5 and make it a terrific 5.
And the changeup is off the outside. 2-1. But these, you called it right at the very beginning. The first 4 guys in this lineup, that's just a meat grinder.
It is.
They're all patient. They foul tough pitches away, especially with 2 strikes. Zobrist, another. He's on deck, the cleanup hitter. Joe Paddock is 35 feet into the outfield for big Anthony Rizzo. Nice grab by Nunez. In the dirt, and Belt. He got it. Kept the foot of the bag as he accepted that tough 1-hop throw. Strong defense. Posey, Pence, Crawford coming up.
Bay Area is brought to you by Bank of America. Life's better when we're connected.
It's September. The Giants are in Chicago against the Red Hot Cubs. It's a 3-3 game. As Buster Posey leads off in the third, to tell you about it, Dwayne Kuiper.
And the first pitch is outside to Posey. Buster in the first inning with a man at third and only one out, rolled one to Zobrist. And here he shoots one fouled, and that will even the count at 1-1 strike. And the Giants scored 2 in the first, 1 in the second. The Cubs scored all of their runs in the first inning. Montgomery about to throw pitch number 40. And it misses, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike.
He had a 21 pitch second inning. So the Giants, who are pretty good themselves, a lot of guys who will make a pitcher extend himself.
Buster high and fouled on the right field line into the upper deck. It's 2-2.
Speaking of pitch counts, as you see Pence on deck. Samardzija, after that 47 pitch marathon in the first inning, 9 pitches thrown in the second.
Yeah. 2-2 pitch in the dirt. 3-2. Giants got the leadoff hitter on in the first. They got the leadoff hitter on in the second. And Buster Posey is a pitch out of the strike zone from getting on here in the third. And he walked him. We talked a little bit earlier about Hunter Pence in batting practice. Look at the location on this ball that he hit out during batting practice, and this was a big fly. And then look at the location in the first inning. Of course, a little bit more velocity from Montgomery than you're going to get from John Yandel, but both in the same spot and both ended up in the same spot. And a base hit to right field. Pence not wasting any time, and the Giants just like that with runners at first and second.
Giants getting a home run in the first inning. It was only the 4th home run by the Giants in the first inning of any game this year. This is game number 133. Blue Jays, for instance, have hit 30.
Yeah, but maybe the Blue Jays just don't hit any after that in any other innings.
Yeah. No, I checked, and they only had about 150 in the other innings. But still, that's a lot of leads, instant offense in the first inning.
Here's Crawford, who lined out to end the first inning. As he lined out to Zobrist, here a swing and a foul into the glove of Ross, and it's no balls and 1 strike. Here's where the Giants will have a couple of lefties coming up, then Nunez, and then another lefty in Belt. Trying to take advantage of Montgomery here in the third, with the first 2 runners reaching. In tight, strike. It's 0-2.
Curveball, 76 miles an hour, and Adam Amari thought it came back and caught the inside.
Posey at second, Pence at first. We're in the third in a 3-3 game. Crawford on the ground. Montgomery's got it. That's 1. The throw to first. Gets away, and here comes Posey, and the Giants take the lead. And Crawford safe at first. Now the ground attack is getting after it here. I mean, this is a double play ball. And Zobrist threw it in the dirt, and Rizzo couldn't dig it out. And I don't know if they'd have got Crawford anyway, but certainly Posey wouldn't have scored.
Did it look like there was a little confusion at second? Like Russell, the young shortstop, looked like he was at first breaking for second himself.
Well, they're both going to break in that direction because the ball is hit up the middle. Here's Panic. Panic on the ground. That's 1. And now Rizzo's got Crawford in a rundown. And Rizzo will tag out Crawford, and that's going to end the inning. Giants do pick up a run. And we'll head to the home half of the third inning. It's 4-3 Giants.
BSN Bay Area is brought to you by Heffernan Insurance Brokers. Insurance and financial services for you and your business. Visit hefins.com.
Giants have taken the lead. And here it's Ben Zobrist who's going to lead things off. It was a Zobrist throwing error that gave the Giants the lead, and here he takes a strike. Solid year for Zobrist, playing again for Joe Madden as he did all those years with the Rays. In tight, 1 ball and 1 strike. And the Giants went hard after Zobrist in the offseason. And they may have come in second. Breaking ball, 2 balls and 1 strike. Samardzija looking for a shutdown inning. He had one in the second. Three and 1. He does not want to walk Zobrist. So you figure Zobrist is going to get something to hit here. He does, and he misses 3 and 2. Cubs have won 3 straight. Their record at home is incredible. They're 48 and 19 at home. Field pretty much straight away. Nunez off the line at third. And this is lifted foul and out of play. John will depart after this half inning and head over to the KMBR side. Dave will come in.
Yeah, I called the movers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get packed up.
Pack them up, baby. And the payoff. Here it is. Got him. And Zobrist knew it. And that's strikeout number 3. The beauty of working radio alone, you're always right.
I try to underscore that a lot. I make a point and then I say, that's right, John.
John, you're on it today, John.
Another excellent point, if I say so myself.
Here's Hayward. Hayward with a base hit in the first inning. On the ground to Belt. Belt has it. He'll go to the bag. 2 outs. The other thing that we always look for when we're working on radio alone, if you turn around and if Lee Jones is snoring, you better pick up your game a little bit.
Try to be a little more interesting.
Make it.
He's a good barometer in that way.
Make it a little more interesting. And then, see, Lee just told Dave right there. You know what, Dave? You're going to have to pick it up a little bit, Bell. Those last 2 outs were not very exciting.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Lee gets into it's 4-3 after 2.5 innings. He gets into all the action.
Lee Jones, he's the best.
Lee's the first to tell you you're not exciting enough when nothing's happening.
That's right. It got a couple of people fired back in the day. Russell with a swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. Russell struck out in the first inning. May have been the biggest out that Samardzija got as things were unraveling at a rapid pace in that first. On the ground, Nunez has got it, and that's from fair territory, and they got him.
Wow.
Another great play by Eduardo Nunez to save the day for Jeff Samardzija. Take a look at this one. His momentum carried him all the way over to the Cubs dugout. A 1-hopper, and it wasn't even close. Very nicely done. By the way, follow the Giants live with MLB.com @bat, the app. You can download the MLB.com @bat app. It is the #1 app for live baseball. Here's Montgomery to Nunez, who takes a strike. Dave Fleming, welcome, Dave.
Welcome to me. Thank you to you for having me.
Yep. I was outvoted.
Well,
here's the pitch. Nunez takes low. You know, look, when you make the transition from radio here or going the other way, it's a little hectic after the last out, but the last out was a great play by Nunez. On the ground, right at Rizzo. Nunez retired. And we'll make it our forward right choice. Take a look at it again. And Russell can run. Nunez got rid of it quickly. And a perfect one hopper. And that's our forward right choice.
you got to give it its due. I mean, it is a scramble. The last out of the inning, we're making the switch over. You gotta pump that play up. That was tremendous.
Absolutely. Here's Belt. Belt drew a walk. Belt's on his way to drawing another walk. It's 2 balls and no strikes.
And you know what? If they're not going to throw you strikes,
pitcher's on deck. And that's lined at Rizzo. 2 outs.
not a bad swing.
Not a bad swing. So here's Samardzija, who had one of the better at bats in this game.
He did.
He came up with a sacrifice fly in the second. He would like nothing better than to just hit one into the bleachers, especially here.
Well, you know, we watched him his last start hit that double and run the bases too.
Yep.
I mean, he was impressive running the bases, and he commented after the game about how he loves National League ball. That year he spent on the south side here in Chicago, where he didn't get a chance to hit, didn't get a chance to run. He didn't like it.
Well, I guess if you're the athlete that he is, you like to be able to do all those things. Not strike out here, but he does, and that'll end the inning. So the first 1-2-3 inning for Mike Montgomery. 4-3 Giants.
But when the Giants get back home, the Padres are coming to town for 3 games, 12th, 13th, and the 14th. A couple special events. Step up to the plate night on the 12th. Filipino Heritage Night on the 13th. sfgiants.com/special events. The place to go. Start planning now before the Giants are back home. 4-3. We had a wild start to this road trip in this 4-game series.
Yeah, here's how it started out. Get to the park, walk on the field, talk to everybody around town here of how you can't hit the ball out tonight. It's too windy. And then Pence hits a monster shot for a home run, and runs are scoring all over the place.
Samardzija throws 47 pitches in the bottom of the first.
Here's Coghlan. Coghlan swings and fouls it out of play.
But one thing about Jeff Samardzija, he salvaged his game by getting that 3rd out in the first, figuring out a way to get through it, and here he is still pitching in the 4th inning. He's settled down.
I said to John at the time when things were unraveling, Coghlan fouls it out of play. I think Montgomery was at the plate. If you retire Montgomery, go 5 innings and don't allow a run, you've had a quality start. And at the time you're thinking, well, that's not possible.
Who knows? Maybe possible now.
Coghlan doubled. And he drives this one well into left center field. Span on the move, and Pagan is going to get there as the wind just blew it back. You're Hunter Pence. You got to be thinking, I'm a strong dude.
The wind totally knocked that ball down. It does. It makes that Pence home run even more amazing.
I mean, Coghlan got both cheeks into this one, and Samardzija's probably thinking, oh my goodness. And then Pagan got there, and then he just hit a wall.
It hardly made it to the warning track.
You're strong, man. Here's David Ross. Samardzija trying to get a feel of that breaking ball. Yeah, look at the last 8 hitters.
Well, I don't want to go over the top. I don't want to be accused of too much exaggeration. Wind blowing in. Let's just say the wind were blowing out like it's blowing in. Not calm, but wind blowing out. 500 feet, I think, for Pence.
It would have hit the scoreboard.
It really would have.
I mean, well, we watched him in batting practice, and remember we were standing down below, and I think Jeff came down, my brother, and he was like, look at Pence.
I would have hit David Ross's face, maybe.
There's a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike.
But I think on a night where a 15-mile-an-hour wind versus in versus out, so that's like a 30-mile-an-hour wind difference, and he hit it 420 plus anyway.
Good pitch. 2-2.
Anyway, I truly believe it had a chance to be one of the longest home runs of the year in Major League Baseball were it not for that win.
Oh, look, he gets a high fastball thrown by a guy that pitcher's probably 93.
Yeah.
Two pitch to Ross, and now Samardzija is a pitch away from walking him, and he does not want to do that. There's Montgomery. Tap foul. Right, it landed quite a ways up into the bleachers.
Yeah, like almost all the way up. 4 rows from the top. He almost hit the scoreboard with the wind.
No. And that's what you want to see out of Hunter Pence on September 1st.
It is.
And I believe it was 2 years ago when he had a September. He had one series against the Dodgers. I think he hit 4 home runs in a 4-game series, or maybe even 5. And we're not asking for too much. And another payoff pitch to David Ross, and he walked him. And Montgomery's night is over.
Welcome to September baseball.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe Madden might have made this move anyway, even if this were a normal game. Might have, but I think it cinched it that he's got extra arms in the bullpen. And I'm not blaming him. The Giants would have done the same thing.
So this is La Stella. Tommy La Stella, who made all kinds of news in this area when he said, I'm not going to the minor leagues.
He refused. Chris Coghlan got healthy. Coghlan, who has not had a good year. La Stella was swinging the bat well, and he was ticked off that he got sent down so Coghlan could be activated.
He taps this one foul. And well, the deal was La Stella was doing a really, really good job. So he said, look, and I don't want to go anywhere. I'm not going to quit. I don't want to play for another team. I'm just not going to show up.
He went home instead of going to AAA. Don't take it personally, Des Moines.
Pagan is going to backtrack and make the catch. La Stella hit it pretty well.
So after all that, finally, I guess they convinced him, or he decided to report. I mean, it was a couple weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
More?
And, you know, it became a big story here in Chicago. I mean, it's really an unprecedented move where you're going to quit. I'm going to quit. I mean, if you have a major league contract, you're going to make that money if you're in AAA. So he was really forfeiting a lot of money too.
Really, really wanted to make his point.
He did.
But
I'm glad he's here.
I think so. I think it's the best result.
I didn't have the nerve to do it when it happened to me. Here's Fowler. Fowler takes a strike.
I mean, did you have a spot where you felt like it was unjust? It wasn't deserved?
No, I got sent out in spring training of 75. And in those days, you sign a split contract. Stay in the big leagues, you make this. If you go to the minor leagues, you make. Well, the idiot that I am is I was like, yeah, whatever, that minor league deal. I'll take whatever, yeah, because I'm not going to go there anyway. I mean, I'm going to make the team. Right, they make the team. Well, it was all on me. It was stupid to even agree to a minor league deal.
Not that you're still thinking about it.
So I said, I'm not going. And our GM, Phil Segui, was like, well, just think about it. Remember, I went to Old Tucson. You ever been to Old Tucson, the old movie set?
Old Tucson.
Went there one day. That was my one-day vacation. Showed up 2 days later. Fowler takes a strike. Well, La Stella went home. I went to Old Tucson.
Put on a cowboy hat and.
Oh my goodness! What was I thinking about? He should have called me. I had a blast in Old Tucson. Fowler up the middle, and he's got a base hit. Ross is going to go to third. So the walk now is definitely hurt Samardzija, because now he's got to deal with Chris Bryant. There's Josh Oshitz getting loose. I think Bruce Bochy here in the month of September is way beyond trying to leave a guy out there to get a win. And with the pitch count the way it is, if he sees this inning go sideways, you may see the skipper go out and get Samardzija. Bryant singled in the first, a little bloop into right field, and then he hit a high fly ball to right that on another day it may have been gone.
That was the one where you could just see in action from where we sit the wind really knock it down.
Used to laugh. The Hall of Famer Milo Hamilton used to call a ball like that a banana ball, and that's exactly what it looked like. It had that same curvature that a banana does. Starts out in one area and ends up in another. Struck well. Span on the move. And a banana ball is caught. Unbelievable.
Don't trip on the peel.
4-3 Giants. All right, it's the top of the 5th inning, and that means it's time for the NorCal Acura Grand Slam giveaway on CSN. Jack Lee, he is our contestant. And Jack will win an Acura MDX if the Giants player hits a Grand Slam this inning. So go to AcuraNorCalDealers.com for more information on how to enter. So it's 4-3 Giants when it's time for a change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and repair experts. All right, Dave, it's your inning. Go get him.
Yeah, so you wait for this guy to come in the game, and then I get to say his name over and over again.
Zastryzny.
Rob Zastryzny. Zastryzny.
Monongahela.
I think you could practice this one for a while and still get it wrong. Just called up, and he's pitching here in the 5th. Good fastball to start off Denard Span's at bat. Denard having another productive game in the leadoff spot. We have said that a lot lately. He got a double and a walk. He's been one of the best Giants hitters over these last few weeks. He says he's always been a good second half hitter. He's living up to it. He pops that one up. The wind could start to push this one around a little bit, but Addison Russell, he's been here many times. One out. That one wasn't the banana ball. That was just pushed back toward the
infield. That was a regular
pop-up. Yeah. Here's Pagan. Pagano for 2. He's grounded out to second twice. That doesn't tell the whole story. Pagan's first at bat, man, he hit a smash. I thought it was a hit off the bat. Ben Zobrist just made a great play. Not only to get to it, but then to throw him out.
I still don't think Pagan's 100%.
Yeah, he's not running, and the Giants have told him, don't push yourself and run max effort and get hurt again if it's not feeling totally fine. So he's got a curveball, this guy. It's 0-2. So you're right. If it's Pagan at full strength, maybe he legs out an infield hit in that first inning. It's that one off the glove to Zobrist. Throws out Pagan again. Josh Osich continues to warm up. Posey's coming up with 2 down and nobody on. So that usually that means that the Giants have made up their minds. Now Samardzija's gone 4. Has thrown 87 pitches.
Yeah, he's kind of got a game face on too.
He does. So it's a little unusual. In the dirt to Posey.
Well, Mike likes to say all the time about the pitch count. Were they stressful pitches? And I would have to say that they were.
They were. They were in the first inning and then again in the 4th inning. And he may be unhappy if they've told him he's coming out of the game.
Yeah.
Posey hits a shot, but on one hop, backhanded by Zobrist, who's picking it clean out there at second tonight. That's a 1-2-3 inning. So I think Samardzija's night is over. We'll see if the Giants are going to the pen. They lead 4-3.
Together building a better California.
Giants with a 4-3 lead. When it's time for a change, think Speedy. Oil change and auto service. Your oil change tune-up and repair experts. Say hello to Josh Osich, who is now on the hill.
Back in the big leagues. He missed a good bit of time with that forearm strain. And his first pitch to Anthony Rizzo is called a strike. That's a good sign for Osich.
Yeah, and look, he's had his moments of being very, very good.
Not a bad breaking ball there.
And what they need now in this game is just to make sure that Josh Osich is throwing quality strikes, but throwing strike.
Yeah, he got himself into a lot of trouble when he was healthy. And who knows, maybe he wasn't feeling 100%, but when he was not throwing strikes. He's got real good stuff from the left side. Almost hit Rizzo, who does crowd the plate. That's one thing about Anthony Rizzo, and we say this every time we see the Cubs, but his career kind of changed when he decided he was just going to stand on top of home plate. And he became a much better hitter, and maybe more importantly, a much tougher hitter to pitch to. He sticks those arms really almost into the strike zone. Hits that one on the ground. Osich has it. He'll shovel to first for the out. Well done. That's a good welcome start back to the big leagues for Osich to retire Anthony Rizzo. It would make a big difference for the Giants in September if they have the normal Osich back and healthy.
Well, yeah, in the absence of Derek Law, you start to look for people that can really contribute in the 8th inning.
And Bruce Bochy knows, especially without Law, he is going to be mixing and matching big time in his bullpen. Zobrist, a switch hitter. That one bounced about 3 feet in front of home plate.
Every once in a while, Buster Posey needs a reminder of how much he misses Jeremy Affeldt.
And that was it.
There it is. Buster, Affeldt's thinking about you. Probably watching.
Likes to take credit for what a good ball blocker Posey's become, saying he gave him all that practice. That fastball, that's 97 at the knees. All right, does this remind you of anybody?
Yeah, that's a scud. And Buster only did that maybe about 100 times when Affeldt was pitching.
Just missed there. 2-1. Tell you what, Zobrist, he got off to the great start, and the numbers are much more modest since the beginning of the year. He is such a pain at the plate for a pitcher. He just grinds out one at bat after another. On the ground, but right to panic. 2 outs.
Tell you what, both teams have hit balls hard in this game that have been right at people.
I think the Giants were definitely feeling that way early in the game, where they could have even put more on the board against Mike Montgomery, the starter. Here's Jason Hayward. Hayward's hit in the first inning was a huge moment. It was, because he just has not been getting those for the Cubs. They kind of built that rally, turned it what might have been a run or even 2 into the 3-run and marathon inning for Samardzija. He's 1 for 2.
For anybody that's been hit in the face like Hayward, and you see the protection he's got, guys like Osich are the ones that really concern you, because they throw hard, they can let one get away. It's purely unintentional, but when you get hit where he got hit, you can't help but thinking about it.
0-2. That one, Posey had to wrestle with that pitch. I don't think Osich is a comfortable catch.
Yeah, he did the double twist.
That's pretty impressive, considering that thing was 97 miles an hour. He got him with the breaking ball. What a return to the big leagues for Josh Osich. That was really impressive. The Giants take a 4-3 lead to the 6th.
4-3 Giants. One of the reasons Hunter Pence hit a home run in the first.
And guess who's leading off here in the 6th? The man himself. Zastryzny, the second pitcher of the game, and this is the first time Pence is seeing him. He was 2 for 2 against the starter Mike Montgomery. A hard hit single to go along with the booming home run. I mean, we've seen the likes of Chris Bryant take on the wind. Now different direction, different trajectory, but and have a ball knocked down. This guy took on the wind and won. 2-0.
Time now for a Togo's big play the Togo's way. This is what it looked like. High fastball. Look where it ended up. Almost hit.
On the ground to short. It really did. Russell throws out Pence. 1 away. It's hard to explain how impressive that is, considering the direction of the wind blowing in from center and really more from left. Right where he hit it. They called it 15 miles an hour. If that's true, and I believe that, but it's a real steady. It's not like it's just a gust every once in a while.
It's the Windy City.
Crawford drags a bunt a little too hard to Rizzo. 2 down. I mentioned how the Padres are coming to town. Monday the 12th is the annual Step Up to the Plate Night special event ticket. Includes a Denard Span bobblehead and a ticket for the Giants and the Pods. September baseball with the bobblehead. sfgiants.com/special events. In partnership with lots of those great community organizations.
You didn't think you were going to come over from radio and not have to read any of these promos, did you?
Oh, I knew.
I mean, the stack on radio is pretty incredible.
Yeah, we build up the color-coded mountain at the start of the game and just try to chip away with our pickaxe. We got a lot going on with the Giants. There's a lot to keep people up to speed on.
Absolutely, I get it.
Hey, Mr. Chicago's getting ready in the bullpen. So we may well see Contos in the bottom of this 6th inning. 1-2 to Panic, who's been hit by a pitch and scored a run. Giants not having a lot of comfortable swings against this guy. So whatever he's doing, their at-bats were pretty loud against the starter Montgomery. High fastball, still 1-2 to Panic. Pence hitting for power, Span getting it going, but another big development for the Giants these last couple weeks has been Panic looking like his old self. He's moving around well, playing great defense, and he's been swinging the bat. Strike 3 called. He thought that was too low. Giants are gone in order to the bottom of the 6th, and Contos probably coming in with the Giants ahead by a run.
Toyota. Toyota's Labor Day clearance event is here. For Labor Day only, get $2,500 total cash back on the redesigned 2016 Prius. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience TV.
Here in Chicago, the Giants with a 4-3 lead. New pitcher is George Cantos. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up in repair experts. 3-2, good ERA for Chicago George. And he will face Addison Russell.
Nobody in Major League Baseball likes going to any city more than George Cantos likes coming here.
It's true.
He gets Russell to chase. Good pitch to start Cantos' night in front of friends and family and buildings that he loves and restaurants that he likes to go to. And he is a Chicago kid. 0-2.
Be prepared to argue with him too, because Bears, you either won the Super Bowl, greatest team ever. Bulls, he may be right about this, greatest team ever. Blackhawks, oh, best hockey in the world.
He gets the strikeout of Russell. One away. Nice pitching there to Addison Russell. Best beach in the world is the beach at Lake Michigan.
Well, the one where it's just cement. Best cement beach in the world.
the
Deep
pizza.
dish pizza.
Yeah.
Oh,
For sure.
it. But he does it passionately, and he's not kidding around either.
No, if you actually do try to argue with him, he kind of takes it personally.
Pack a sandwich, because you're going to be there a while.
There's Chris Coughlin, who has swung the bat well tonight. Doubled in a run and driven one to deep left field. That was caught, that probably was knocked down by the wind. Otherwise, might have been over the wall. Those numbers on the year are brutal, but you wouldn't know it from his two swings tonight.
That is a fact.
One and one. Well, George had the receiving line before the game. He had all kinds of folks here, had to go check in with, say hi. But he is a guy, and he's done it before. He's pretty comfortable pitching in his hometown in front of his family and friends. Doesn't get intimidated by it. Generally, he's done a pretty good job when he's come back here to Wrigley. That is not always the case. Not every player handles that the same way. I guess it gets easier as you go along.
Yeah, it can be what it can be is a distraction, and if you allow it to be a distraction, then you can have a couple of disaster hometown outings. Leave it up to mom and dad for tickets. That's the way I did it. Make dad the bad guy.
Did he go? He's making the call himself. Did Phil Cuzzi? We must have missed his ruling. Hopefully Phil wasn't so busy that he couldn't flinch. Not quite the hands in the pocket, but close. 2-2. Full count here to Coughlin. Oh, see, he did it so fast. He was just so on top of it.
He beat you to the punch.
Yeah. Struck him out.
Wow.
High slider or cutter.
A hanger.
Sometimes those work.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you get away with it, you go, oh, thank you very much. Probably the lack of speed that got Coughlin as opposed to the location.
Yeah, almost acts like a changeup.
Almost does.
A 2 down, and David Ross will be the hitter. Well, Osich came in, retired all 3 hitters he faced. Now Contos has struck out 2 in a row. So Marjo only goes 4. And it was the pitch count from the first inning that is the reason why. He threw 47 pitches in the first inning. Samardzija did.
Well, I don't think there's any question that he was upset when he got taken out. And Dave Righetti and Bruce Bochy will, I'm sure, at some point explain to him why.
On the ground, left side, past both Nunez and Crawford. Just a perfectly placed ground ball. Because those 2 guys have been getting to everything.
Yeah, that's a C&I base hit, and Nunez has been spectacular with the glove. And you're right, if those 2 guys can't get it, then it's going to be a hit.
So now with the pitcher spot up, the Cubs will use Jorge Soler, who does scare you in a spot like this. Getting later in the game, he's got that power, 10 home runs. A big, strong dude. Strike 1.
Yeah, just don't make a mistake. Don't make a mistake up. Buster crossed up. Or Buster going to say, I don't know about that one. Don't throw it again.
Yeah, that could be.
2 great plays by Nunez. I mean, really, they've been spectacular.
This is what we're referring to.
You got Rizzo, but the next one is the one. Russell, who runs well and not close.
Yeah, the thing that was impressive about the first one was he was playing the shift and was over towards short. You're kind of in an uncomfortable spot. It was hit back behind him. He's been making a lot of those plays of late. So it's 0-1 to Soler. Posey back behind the plate. And Posey nods his head. You can see him nodding there, like that's more like how we want to throw that pitch.
Well, we've seen what happens to balls hit to right field. So the message may be is, let's not give this guy anything to pull.
In the air to right has been knocked down big time by the wind. The flip side of that is you got Dexter Fowler on deck. A walk would put the tying run in scoring position. But I think you kind of said the magic word, up. That first one, he got the strike on it, but it was up. Two 1. That's a good one.
That's a good pitch right there. Now see if you can throw it again. We're never satisfied.
Got him.
And he did.
He really did. Those were 2 great pitches and a fabulous inning for Contos. John comes back over and joins Kipe on the TV side with the Giants ahead 4-3.
And it's brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Samardzija and Montgomery both departed early. Hunter Pence hit a big 2-run home run in the first inning. The Cubs scored all of their runs in the first inning, and the Giants lead this one 4-3. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Your oil change tune-up and repair experts. You're looking at Joe Smith. He is the sidewinder down under, and he can be tough, especially on right-handed hitters. Although right-handed hitters are hitting in the 290. There's a strike to Nunez. John is back. John will do the play-by-play in the 8th. Nunez is 0 for 2, a couple of ground balls. A little chilly tonight, didn't it?
Feels like we're home.
It does.
Which is good. The Giants come to Wrigley Field. It was just a couple of days ago. They had hot, humid weather here.
That day you're talking about is how I packed for this trip.
I said, what kind of clothes should I wear for TV, Kite?
Yeah, I said, oh, bring all your short sleeve stuff. It's supposed to be hot.
Who knew?
Slowly hit. Foul. These guys are ready.
See, they're right at home. Weather like this. It's Orange Thursday at Wrigley Field. Who knew that? And they got the short sleeve. They took your advice.
Man. You never know in the Windy City. Belt on deck. Nunez battling Smith. It's this one slowly to Russell. And Russell will throw him out. We're bringing Belt to the plate.
We got two of the best defensive young and defensive shortstops in the game, and especially in the National League. Andrelton Simmons, of course, is now in the American League with the Angels, but at the top of the list, you know, they have the analytics now where they gauge runs saved by defense, and Crawford is #1, and Addison Russell is a close #2 in that list.
Belt takes a strike with Connor Gillespie on deck, and both guys are making their mark offensively by knocking runs in.
They're the top 2 RBI men among shortstops.
Belt walked in the 2nd and then hit a line drive right at Rizzo in the 4th. Overshift is on. It's Ryan who moves from 3rd out to the right side of the diamond as Belt steps out. 4-3. Hunter Strickland in the bullpen getting loose. Swing. Gonna miss. It's 1-2. Takes a couple of pitches to find the release point of Joe Smith.
He reminds you a little bit of Ziegler. There's Hunter Strickland in the Giants pen, but he throws a lot harder than Ziegler.
And Belt is gone.
And that was via third base at 90 miles an hour with movement.
Gillespie pulled back. It's going to be Parker. Had Belt reached, then it would have been Gillespie.
You think that is indicative of Bruce Bochy feeling that Parker's a guy who just might lose one over the right field wall? Give you some instant offense.
That's absolutely correct. And he'll swing for it too. And a strike.
Parker has only had 114 at bats in the big leagues this year, and 5 home runs, which is pretty good. One every 23 at bats, official at bats, but at a 380 on base average.
He's got a pretty decent eye. Parker takes A breaking ball for a strike, and it's now 1-2. And he got him, and that'll end the inning. So Smith comes in and gets a couple of strikeouts. It'll be Fowler in the top of the order coming up. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and repair experts. Hunter Strickland comes in, and you see his numbers. He's had a good year, and he gets to face the top of the order in Dexter Fowler, Chris Bryant, and then Anthony Rizzo. So those three are going to see a good hearty fastball from Hunter Strickland. Fowler is 1 for 2. And he takes a strike at the knees.
Strong inning for George Contos.
Very strong.
They give up the base hit to Ross, but it was just a ground ball that managed to find a hole. And he struck out 3 in the inning.
Foul back. That deep dish Chicago pizza does wonders. Although I wouldn't know. It's not on my diet.
You mean from what you've heard?
From what I've heard from George.
You've read in the travel magazines.
George said it's the best in the world.
Yeah, same with me. I wouldn't know personally.
High, 1 and 2. Now, all the years we've been coming to Chicago, you're not going to be able to avoid that deep dish pizza every trip.
Deep dish pizza, it's almost like a casserole. It's like there's a pizza and then beneath it is a whole big casserole.
Off of Strickland, he's trying to find it, and Fowler's going to beat it out. So I'm sure they're going to check on Strickland. Did it get him right in the... Oh man, it might have got him on the hand. I hope it was in the hand. He ended up making a pretty nice recovery. It's Pretty athletic play for a big guy. But now you got Fowler at first. He hasn't showed signs that he's going to run. And you got Bryant and Rizzo and Zobrist all coming up. This is the tough part of this lineup. Will Smith is in the bullpen. So here's Strickland with Fowler at first. And a strike, and it's 0-1.
98 miles an hour. But very straight right down the middle.
Ball misses. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bryant's hit a couple of balls very well to center and to right that the wind just have knocked down.
He's had 2, and Coughlin hit 1 to left.
Yeah.
Just the way the outfielders started after them, you thought they'd really connected. But then just as abruptly as they had raced after him, they stopped, which indicated that the wind had knocked him down.
Outside at 99, it's 2 balls and 1 strike.
So the little cutting action on that took it right out of the strike zone.
It may have hurt him. Two and 1 with good speed at first. Out of play. 2-2. A packed house, over 38,000 tonight. And this is just game 1. There's 3 more all-day games starting tomorrow. Fowler back. He's got 8 steals. Hasn't shown signs at all that he's going to run. Rizzo and then Zobrist. So that was the one shot that Strickland had where he didn't have to come into the strike zone. Now he does.
And again, that was 98 miles an hour, but you can see the movement. It looked like it carried it just off the plate.
See if Fowler goes. He does. And it's low, ball 4.
The pennant race is on, and the St. Louis Cardinals, who right now are just behind the Giants in the wild card division, will be in San Francisco starting Thursday, September the 15th, 2 weeks from tonight. That'll be Italian Heritage Night presented by Gelati Construction. Friday the 16th with the Cardinals will be Star Trek night, and on Sunday it will be Yoga Day at AT&T. Get your tickets now at sfgiants.com/tickets. Pitching change for the Giants.
Yeah, so it's going to be Will Smith, and we'll be back. A 4-3 lead for the Giants, but the Cubs have their first 2 runners aboard here in the 7th, so that'll bring in Will Smith. You see his numbers. Will Smith has faced these Cub hitters a lot, having spent all of his years in Milwaukee, and his numbers against Anthony Rizzo's faced him more than anybody, 10 times. And Rizzo's 4 for 10 with a couple of doubles and a home run. So a little bit of ownage. And right now Smith is going to try to get the strikeout or a double play ball. Rizzo is 0 for 3. And the pitch. And it's a strike at the knees, and it's 0-1. He started him off with a curveball. Zobrist is on deck. This is Will Smith's inning. Nobody's in the bullpen. Smith will chase Fowler back. Ball and 1 strike. Giants have held the Cubs down since the first inning. Cubs had a little something going on in the 4th. As now Guerin's going to get loose. Did that hit the bat?
Apparently so. No argument from Rizzo.
Rizzo make any move at all of going down to first.
I thought it for sure it hit him.
I did too. So that's a break. So hit the knob.
Wow. Rizzo really crowds the plate big time. As you see right there, hit the knob with the bat right beneath his hand. And he gets hit a lot crowding the plate the way he does.
Nice block. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And that camera is not centered. It's off to the side, so it could be a little bit misleading. But from that center field camera, it looks like Rizzo's hands are actually in the strike zone.
It does. You're right.
With very long arms. He's a big guy.
And that's slashed foul and out of play.
And Smith with the Brewers in the same division with the Cubs. Pretty good rivalry between those 2 clubs as well. So he knows a lot about this Cubs lineup.
People that can't get tickets here end up going to Milwaukee.
Milwaukee is a lot like Petco Park.
That's right.
Giants fans go to Petco, and Cubs fans go to Miller Field, Miller Park.
Got him. Rizzo will be very unhappy because he swung at a pitch in the dirt. Sometimes, John, you look for a pitch, you get it, and you think, oh, I'm going to reward myself because I guessed right, except it's an unhittable pitch. He may have been looking breaking ball. Probably not with 2 strikes. But so here's Zobrist. Now Zobrist, his numbers lifetime against Smith. He's 2 for 3. Zobrist singled in the 1st, struck out in the 3rd, bounced out to Panic in the 5th.
Zobrist has had a single and a double against Smith, and then Smith also has struck him out. course, we don't know how he hit the single in the double.
That's right. We don't. And a strike. And it's 0-1.
He's really going back to that curveball.
Yeah. Well, now he started out Smith with a breaking ball for a strike, and he does the same here to Zobrist. A single and a walk off of Strickland. And it's low. Buster Posey caught that right in the web. And it's a ball and a strike.
Zobrist, another one of those very patient hitters. Doesn't often go out of the strike zone chasing a bad ball. And the left-handed hitting Jason Hayward on deck.
He will definitely make you work. And now Fowler goes, and Posey's throw is going to be late. Smith and Panic had tried their best to keep him close, but Smith is just very deliberate to the plate. And if you got a guy like Fowler who can run well, he's going to steal that on the pitcher every time. And now you got to pitch for the double play ball or the strikeout.
Zobrist is a double play possibility. He's grounded in to more double plays than any other Cub. 17 double play ground balls hit by Zobrist.
Pulled foul. It stays at 2-2. Bryant must have been surprised that Fowler went, because he did not go. And you're always told by the first base coach, keep an eye on what that runner in front of you is going to do, because if he goes, you need to go. So a good take by Zobrist on a pitch in the dirt.
Well, Bryant may be going now that it's gone to 3-2.
Maybe going now. Absolutely. Fowler came down the line and then scurried back, so the bases are loaded. And here's Hayward. Fowler may have thought that that ball was a little further away from Buster Posey. So now it's Hayward. Hayward is singled. He did that in the first. He's bounced out and he's struck out. Against Will Smith, Hayward is 3 for 9. And the pitch, and it's outside and low, and there's the breaking ball, and it's 1 ball and no strikes.
Hayward is grounded into 10 double plays. They also have the force out at home plate. Especially a corner infielder might figure that could be his best shot. They could go that way.
Two and 0. And now Will Smith has put himself into a spot where he needs to throw a strike.
And he was not real close with either one of those pitches.
He was not.
Jason Hayward also with experience in the division, 3 for 9 in his career against Smith.
Down the right field line, foul. As Hayward broke his bat, it's 2 balls and 1 strike.
Off the bat, I think a lot of fans, Cubs and Giants fans alike, thought that ball was headed into the corner and maybe a 3-run double.
See Belt looking out to see where the barrel of the bat was.
The bat just snapped in 2, and that barrel end with, as you say, a very lethal jagged edge heading for Brandon Belt.
Well, Smith did what he had to do, was get a strike. It's now 2-1. 2-2. Healthy rip at a 92-mile-an-hour fastball, and now Smith has got the one pitch where he can try to get Hayward on his pitch.
This is the 7th inning, but for Will Smith it might as well be the 9th inning.
Absolutely,
because this is where the game needs to be saved for the Giants.
2-2. Little pop-up. It's going to be Paddock or Belt, and it's Paddock who makes the catch, and he gets it right back into the infield. So nice job by Will Smith, and that's going to be it for him.
And you know, he ended up walking Zobrist, which you wouldn't advise that because it put the possible go-ahead run into scoring position. At the same time, he knew he had the left-handed hitter who is not having a very good season.
And it made it a better matchup for him.
It really did.
So Corey Guerin's coming in. It remains 4-3 Giants. Going to be day games, so that means back in the Bay Area, pregame live will start at 10:30, and then we'll have the game for you at the top of the hour at 11 or so. So it is game 2 of this 4-game series. It is the home of authentic Giants fan is CSN. Well, here's Corey Guerin. Guerin's task is not going to be an easy one. Addison Russell is 0 for 3 in the game, but remember, he's got 86 RBIs on the season. So here's Guerin. See if he can get out in front. And he does.
Beauty. And he hadn't necessarily thrown that many sliders like that since coming back from the DL, but that was a great time to throw a beauty right on the outside edge.
Perfect. Left field, base hit. 2 runs are going to score. And just like that, the Cubs take the lead. And for Russell, he now has 88 runs batted in on the year. How about that? I don't think Corey Guerin would be unhappy. He threw the pitch that Buster wanted, but Russell dug it out, broke his bat, and flips it into left field.
It's been a bad night for Addison Russell. Up till then, a couple of strikeouts, but this is the big one. Fowler the tying run, and then Bryant right behind him with the go-ahead run.
So Guerin departs. It's 5-4 Chicago.
Presented by authority of the San Francisco Giants. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of San Francisco Baseball Associates, LLC.
Cubs have scored twice here in the 7th inning. It's 5-4. So Matt Reynolds comes in as another lefty. And Javier Baez is going to hit. So Baez facing Reynolds. Swing and a miss. No balls and 1 strike.
Good changeup. Baez has 13 home runs in 347 official at bats. Free swinger, doesn't often walk. 271 average. You see his numbers there. A 310 on base percentage.
Down low from Reynolds.
And we had talked about the walk of Zobrist by Smith, which did create a better matchup for with the next hitter. But it also moved the possible go-ahead run into scoring position, and that run has now scored.
Foul back. Big rip by Baez, and that's what he'll do. Zobrist is at second. Russell's at first. And Crawford will catch this, and that'll end the inning. Crawford could not catch the one Russell hit. Cubs take the lead. It's 5-4. Top of the order coming up. State in 1964 at Shea Stadium, Masanori Murakami made his debut with the Giants and became the first native of Japan to play in the major leagues. First batter that he faced was Charlie Smith, and he got Charlie looking. Over his first 5 years, Masanori pitched 11 scoreless innings. It's a 5-4 lead for the Cubs. Here's John Miller.
All right, and the Giants, with Smith still out there, have the top of the order coming up. Span, Pagan, and Posey. Pence due up fourth. Bluffing the bunt, taking a called strike. And looks like he's questioning that call by Adam Hamari. Cubs made a change at second. Javier Baez, who pinch hit for Coughlin, stays in to play second base. And Zobrist has moved from second out to left field where Coughlin had been. 1-1. Span has hit a double and scored a run. He started a 2-run rally in the first inning. He walked in the second and popped up to short in the fifth. There's Baez at second. Pena, Felix Pena, warming up in the Cubs bullpen. That one, movement off the outside, and it's 2-1. There's Pena. Rondon, who had been the closer, and then when they acquired Aroldis Chapman, Rondon became the setup man, but he's on the disabled list now. That missed, and Smith didn't think so. 3-1.
See where it is. No. Pretty good pitch.
3-1. That one does come back and catch the outside. 3-2. Giants trying to play catch up now. You usually don't want to still be trying to play catch up when Aroldis Chapman gets in the game.
No, that's true.
Still 3-2. Giants saw Aroldis Chapman a couple of times in New York when they played at Yankee Stadium, some interleague play. They also saw Andrew Miller a couple of times, two of the best in the American League. And then right after the Giants left New York, both of them got traded. Andrew Miller with Cleveland in the American League. Comes back to get him.
Yeah, here's some of the highlights. We talked about Masanori Murakami.
Murakami was with the Giants all through the '65 season, and he came back a couple of years ago for a first ball ceremony. Worked for the Giants for several years, scouting talent over in Asia. But he had some good numbers. You look at his numbers, 1965, and he pitched 74 innings or whatever and had over 90 strikeouts.
Pagan with a pop-up, and it'll be Russell. Russell will put it away.
Pagan's 0 for 4 in this one. We're not used to that. He's been really hot lately. So now Buster Posey, 2 down, nobody on. Cubs are leading the Giants 5-4. The Giants had gone ahead in the first inning 2-0, but the Cubs got 3 in their half of the first. The Giants tied it in the second. Jeff Samardzija knocked in the tying run with a sacrifice fly. Then they went ahead in the third, led all the way up until the 7th. And Buster remains hitless. He has not gotten the ball out of the infield tonight. 0 for 3 with a walk. Last of the 8th inning. 5-4 Chicago.
Presented by Comcast Business. Jim Kozumar. He will host it. Elmer. It'll start at 9 right here on CSN Bay Area. Matt Mielko is going to be part of that. Bill Taylor. And Rick Harrow from Sports Business. He's a sports business expert. So Giants need to hold these Cubs down to get to the 9th, trailing by 1.
Matt Reynolds and David Ross hits a foul, and the count is 0-1. The Cubs, by the way, have action in their bullpen, and it is not Aroldis Chapman, and there's a good reason for it. There's Edwards, the young and very exciting pitcher, Carl Edwards Jr. Big rip at that one by Ross, and a foul, 0-2.
Yeah, he throws hard.
But Aroldis Chapman threw 31 pitches last night against the Pirates. He got the save. He gave up a run, 2 hits, a walk, and threw 31 pitches. And he had also worked the day before and the day before that. Change up off the outside. So as Bruce Bochy might say, he needs a day.
Yeah, and by the way, the Cubs won all 3 of those games.
against a divisional rival. Change up. Crawford got him. Ross retired for the first time. He had had 2 walks and a single earlier. Aroldis Chapman also threw 3 wild pitches in that game last night. What an exciting 9th inning he had last night.
Unbelievable.
He had a 6-4 lead, and it took him a long time to get through it and still hold that lead. It ended up 6-5. Matt Caesar is going to pinch it now for Joe Smith, who went 2 perfect innings for the Cubs. In fact, the Cubs bullpen has pitched 4 perfect innings tonight. 2 by Zastryzny and 2 by Smith. Giants bullpen had its problems in the 7th inning. And that's ball 1 to Caesar. Caesar. How do you spell it? Well, just sound it out. No, don't do that. If you sound it out, you will never spell it correctly. S-Z-C-Z-U-R. There's a bunt, and it goes foul. And Nunez is backed up at third base. Not a bad idea. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 out, nobody on.
So all these years, Caesar's Palace has spelled it wrong.
Who knew?
Unbelievable. Nobody would go if it was spelled that way.
Shakespeare spelled it wrong. Julius Caesar, one of the great classic plays.
It's rare you see 2 Z's in a name when they're not next to each other.
Like pizza.
Yes.
Or piazza.
Yes.
Matt Caesar.
Yeah, just throw a C in the middle of them, and that'll make it much easier.
Well, I think it was a very wise decision to go with Caesar as the pronunciation for that.
Absolutely.
I know we appreciate it. Another one to Crawford. And he made it look easy, although the ball took a tough hop on him at the last. 2 down.
Yeah, this is last night against the Pirates. Addison Russell. So last night a big catch, tonight a big hit. I don't know how he dug that one out, but he did, because that pitch was not a strike.
And he is one of those guys who gets a lot of hits on pitches that were not strikes.
Yep.
Which it's tough to pitch to a guy like that, isn't it?
It is.
Addison Russell. And he is one of those guys they got. They traded a veteran. And they traded a lot of veterans. And they had a lot of bad years in a row here as they were in the process of rebuilding. But guys like Addison Russell are the result of all of that rebuilding and the bringing in of young talent. And now they, at the moment, have the best record in the game by far. Dexter Fowler fouls one back into the second deck. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Carl Edwards Jr. getting ready to come on for the 9th inning. As we look ahead, Giants down by a run at the moment. Have Hunter Pence, who's swung the bat well in this game. Brandon Crawford and Joe Panik. 3 guys who are all threats. That's down off the foot. 1-2. Matt Reynolds gotten a couple of ground ball outs. He's had a good plan. Make him hit it to Brandon Crawford. Good idea. Reynolds he's also featuring a pretty good changeup that's been very effective in this inning. He's faced 3 hitters and gotten them all, although the first guy faced Baez had a line drive but right to Brandon Crawford. That ended the 7th. A couple of ground outs to Crawford here in the 8th. And Crawford will be up second in the Giants' last chance 9th inning.
Yeah, note to any pitcher on the Giants. Have him hit it to Crawford. That's it.
If you can't do that, maybe have him hit it to Panik.
That too. And the way Nunez has been going, not a problem.
Nunez has worked really hard at his defense. And it really has paid off. You can see that it's paid off. He's put in extra time with Ron Wotus, who coaches the Giants infielders. Of course, when he was in Minnesota and before that with the Yankees, he was liable to be at third one day, short the next day, second another day, left field another day. He was never in any one position on a daily basis. Brandon Belt, the wind is pushing it toward the seats. Bell got it. Last chance for the Giants. Pence, Crawford, and Paddock. Nunez due up fourth. They are trailing 5-4 after 8. The Giants player of the game is brought to you by Honda. Hunter Pence, first inning against the wind. A spectacular, monstrous home run almost to the top of the bleachers in left center. That gave the Giants a 2-0 lead. Pence also hit one into right field, a solid single that set up their fourth run back in the third inning. He grounded out hard to short in the sixth, so he is 2 for 3. And here is Carl Edwards Jr. Kite, who's trying to get the save in place of Aroldis Chapman.
Pence takes a strike. You saw the home run by Pence. He then singled in the third, bounced out in the fifth. Foul back. It was a healthy rip.
And he had a good swing at that one. We've seen him launch him into the opposite field on balls like that in the past.
He likes that high fastball. Outside. Crawford. Then Panic. And the 1-2. Nope, 2-2. Very deceiving to the fans here at Wrigley Field, because Edwards is hitting the glove of Ross, but Ross's glove is out of the strike zone. Got it. So Pence is retired, and here's Crawford. mentioned the very lively fastball that jumps at you right at the end. And now with one out and nobody on, here's Brandon Crawford.
Edwards, another product of trading a veteran for young prospects. They got him from Texas for Matt Garza.
There's a breaking ball for a strike.
It's a tough combination, isn't it? A good slow breaking ball and then 97-mile-an-hour heat.
And nobody's going to swing at that breaking ball on the first pitch. It's a great way to just start out with a strike. There's a fastball at 97, and just like that, it's 0-2. Out of play. Cubs with 3 in the first and then 2 runs in the 7th. Giants had the lead going into the 7th. Outside, 1-2. Back again. So Crawford now getting a steady diet of fastballs, as you would expect from Carl Edwards Jr.
It's kind of astounding how he's given up so many runs. He's allowed 9 runs in 26 innings. He's only allowed 10 hits.
Yeah. And he hasn't been wild tonight. Up the middle, but Russell moving to his left. 2 outs. And the last hope now for the Giants is Joe Panik.
I think there's about 29 other teams like to have this guy as their closer right now.
Absolutely.
26 and a third innings, 10 hits allowed, 36 strikeouts.
So all standing here at Wrigley Field. They're looking to see if this young right-hander can get the last out. Panik is 0 for 2. And he takes a strike. On the ground to third. And that's the ball game. So game 1 in this important 4-game series, it goes to the Cubs, and the Cubs do it with 2 runs in the 7th inning, and that's the one that broke their backs, the base hit by Addison Russell.
The Giants got 4 runs in the first 3 on only 3 hits, and then they never got another hit after that. The Cubs bullpen 5 perfect innings in relief.
So game 1 in the books, and the Giants are disappointed because they had the lead in the 7th. Those are usually their games. Final score: Cubs 5, Giants 4. Stay tuned. Esurance Giants post-game live. That starts right now.